maybe the greatest rom-com speech in movie history is his speech.
You like that better than the "You've Got Mail" speech?
I think so.
You like that better than the Nicolas Cage, um,
I could eat a
m
peach all day.
"I can eat a peach all day."
I finally
Watched.
I finally
Watched. I
finally
watched. I
finally
watched.
I finally
Watched.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of I Finally Watched. I'm Milan.
And this is David, and today I finally watched When Harry Met Sally.
This movie is in the repertoire of the many rom-coms that my mom has shown me over the years, like on repeat. Like this, You've Got Mail, Notting Hill, My Best Friend's Wedding, like back to back to back, forming my early like childhood understanding of movies, and totally understandable. This one went totally unappreciated.
Yeah, I did my Mount Rushmore of rom-coms on our last episode of You've Got Mail. Well,
Right.
you and I confirmed that because I didn't remember hearing it on the recording when I was listening to it. And I know it's not easy to chisel off a face on Mount Rushmore and put a different face on there. Although, if Trump can figure it out in the remaining years, I'm sure he'll try. But someone's got to move because When Harry Met Sally is now up.
Fun fact, Mount Rushmore was actually like a worshipped mountain by the Native Americans that we as the US government completely decimated and made into our own thing.
I don't know that that's a fun fact. Also, I think, they kind of liked the entire US that we took. But I was amazed at how much I liked this movie from the start. I texted you when I
Who
was
would
like,
fall off? Who would fall off your Mount Rushmore for this?
I think it has to be Wimbledon because it's not. So I did what? I did You've Got Mail, The Wedding Planner, Serendipity, and Wimbledon. Wimbledon was like a hot take pick, I think, but like Serendipity's not going anywhere, and You've Got Mail's not going anywhere. I mean, You've Got Mail maybe, but just because it's like I can't be too Meg Ryan heavy, although she
You
is the queen.
could. You could.
She's the queen of the format to me, which is funny because she had to fight for this part. Uh, and The Wedding Planner is not going anywhere. That movie's delightful.
This the one with J-Lo?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's they can't go anywhere. So I think it has to be
So what do you
Wimbledon.
mean she had to fight for this role?
So actually, the alternate casting we can just do at the top because Rob Reiner wanted. I don't even know who this first person is. Susan Day. I looked her up. I think this might have been a huge break for her if she got this, but he wanted her. She turned it down. He approached Elizabeth Perkins, Elizabeth McGovern, and Molly Ringwald. Molly Ringwald had to turn it down for scheduling conflicts, although she ended up playing the part on the West End in like a play version of this in the UK. Uh, so then Meg Ryan started lobbying hard for the part and ended up getting it, which is crazy because of how like iconic she is in this. Tom Hanks turned down the role of Harry because he said it was too lightweight. And then, according to his now wife, Rita Wilson, he turned down the role because he was going through divorce and he was very happy to be married. And so he couldn't understand a person coming out of a divorce who was just nothing but like, I'm so happy to be divorced.
I mean, but that's kind of layered to the character too. I wonder if that they were transparent about that to him. I
Oh,
think we should also mention that, because of Rob Reiner's untimely passing is a reason that we are doing this movie, even though this movie fits perfectly within our realm of doing movies, a movie you haven't seen. Uh, we have done quite a few Rob Reiner films on the podcast.
yeah, this is 4.
So let's name the other 3. We did Princess
Spinal
Bride,
Tap,
Spinal
Princess,
Tap.
and it's the Jack Nicklaus movie with Tom Cruise. It's escaping me.
That's not a day to remember.
A Few Good Men. A Few Good
A
Men.
few good
Yeah,
men. A few good men. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just about to say you can't handle the title of this movie.
that's true. So yeah, I think we had talked originally about doing a month, like in remembrance month of like because we're gonna be doing a Diane Keaton movie, we're gonna be doing Annie Hall, and then we are doing a Robert Redford movie. TBD on what that's gonna be because then we're also doing a Gene Hackman movie. I think we're doing Royal Tenenbaums, or though it could be Unforgiven, or it could be French Connection. So we'll
We're
figure
playing it
that out.
loose this year. We're playing it very loose this
Well,
year.
what's funny though is so if we did Royal Tenenbaums, When Harry Met Sally, and Annie Hall. So if we
Oh
did
yeah.
those three, those are three New York movies, comedic New York movies, and then at the end, for Robert Redford, I want to do 3 Days of the Condor, but that's like completely different. So I don't know if that fits. There might be some New York stuff in there.
Surely Robert
Nah,
Redford has done a New York movie.
I would think so, but I also don't want that to be like I don't want to be so pigeonholed in what we do because I want to do 3 Days of the Condor or All the President's Men, something like that. We have lots of options. Maybe we could do another Anderson month in August where we could do Paul Thomas and Wes Anderson because I think we have plenty of those still to go.
Our point
I digress.
is rest in peace, Rob Reiner.
Yeah, I've tried not to read too much of the details, and because every time it does, it just makes me so sad. And now like doing this movie, I don't know, it makes you sadder or not, but it's just like you realize how great his career was and like how diversified it was,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
the three movies we just named, Princess Bride, Spinal Tap, like Spinal Tap's the greatest mockumentary ever made, right? It's the one that all that have come after it sort of that's the
It's
Rosetta
the mold.
Stone. It's the
The mold.
Rosetta Stone for those movies, right? This, I mean, this movie, When Harry Met Sally, to me seems to be riffing a lot off of like an Annie Hall type movie, right?
I
And
don't know. I've never seen Annie Hall.
well, you're about to, but it's still like it's. I mean, I think it's maybe widely considered one of the greatest romantic comedies. There is a list. AFI did a list of the top 10 romantic comedies, and the first one is City Lights, which is like a 30s movie with Charlie Chaplin. Annie Hall is number two. It Happened One Night, which is a 30s movies. Roman
City
Holiday.
Lights is
Huh?
number one. City Lights is number one.
Yeah, I find that weird. Yeah. Roman Holiday 4. The Philadelphia Story 5, which I've never heard of, but I'm not that great of a
Is that
cinephile.
not the one where like Tom Hanks has AIDS or something?
That's Philadelphia. And then When Harry Met Sally is 6. That's the most modern one on here, right? Like, so you have the 70s. I guess that's the other one. I think Annie Hall, When Harry Met Sally are two really good ones. Moonstruck's 8, Harold and Maude, and then Sleepless in Seattle are 10.
You consider Moonstruck that's amazing to me.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Like as I said last time when we did You've Got Mail, like I was being very much a purist on what I consider a rom com, and I think like the modern definition is what I would consider, right? So I mean, Annie Hall sort of meets that. Sleepless in Seattle for sure. Of modern rom coms, though, When Harry Met Sally, I think is it. And having watched it now, I mean, it's kind of a perfect movie.
You know, there's like a 14-year age difference between Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal.
We always discuss whether you use younger people or like make the actors look younger. Obviously in this you didn't have a choice because it's only like 5 years at a time in the beginning of this, but his hair is so funny. She's got the Farrah Fawcett hair in the
Yeah.
first scene of this. When the movie starts out like that, I'm like, oh, is this the movie? It's going to be these little vignettes because I loved it. I mean, like, it's so dialogue heavy, right? Like a Tarantino movie, but like different kind of dialogue. I mean, it really is like a Woody Allen movie. Like
Yeah.
it's just this dialogue, relationship heavy stuff. But like, I was enraptured by it from the beginning. I did think that Billy Crystal's character in the first scene sucked.
Well, that is kind of like the beautiful thing about growing up, right? Is that you and me, everyone, we all sucked in college. Okay, there's
That was
no
pretty
getting by.
cool. That was pretty
Nah,
cool.
I doubt it. There's no getting by that. But you know what's really cool about this movie is that just in the first 5 year period jump, he matured a lot,
Yeah.
and you saw that, right? He wasn't perfect. There were still a lot of faults about him, but her too. And then the next 5 years, they all grew a little bit more. At the end of the movie, where you kind of could track their friendship up to probably New Year's Eve, right at the very end of the movie, they were, well, especially Billy Crystal, like making their full character arc, right? His full character development is realizing my outlook on life and women and marriage and everything is fucked, and I kind of need to look at it from a different perspective. That's how I took it, at least.
But he also turned out to be right about the men and women thing, at least in his very limited perspective.
You can be right, but it doesn't mean you like the delivering is like delivering that is like kind of an asshole move.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. We can discuss who was right or wrong as we get to those different parts. So this was a Nora Ephron movie, which, by the way, we discussed Nora Ephron and the Mob sequel she wanted to You've Got Mail. I did not make this connection last time we were talking about this because she did My Blue Heaven, which is the character from Goodfellas after he's in witness
Right.
protection, played by Steve Martin. She was married to the author of Goodfellas, Nicholas Pileggi.
Oh,
So I never made that connection last time, but that's I don't know. Yeah, it's I guess
that's funny.
obviously why she had that
So
influence.
she produced this movie.
She wrote it.
She wrote it. She wrote When Harry Met Sally.
She wrote When Harry Met Sally, although she said that a lot of the dialogue. So Rob Reiner and Billy Crystal were best friends, who apparently would talk on the phone about movies as they're watching movies together. Like
Oh, kind of like
they were
us.
Harry and Sally. Yeah, yeah, I guess. So she took a lot of dialogue from them, like a lot of real life stuff, and then also the Rob Reiner character was a little bit Billy Crystal, and she was a little bit the Sally character.
But they were never in love with each other.
They weren't, but just a lot of the mannerisms and not mannerisms, but so she apparently is a very picky orderer like Sally. Like that's where they got that from. To the point now where she said after the fact, which she passed in the early 2000s, but after the fact she would do an order, make an order at some restaurant or on a plane or something, and the waitress or the whatever would just be like, "Have you seen When Harry Met Sally?"
That's funny. That's good.
By the way, so Nora Ephron was quoted as saying, before we get started, she loved this movie. She was very happy with how it turned out, but she was unhappy with the title, and it's the one thing she would fix. I think this is an iconic title to this movie. I obviously with the passage of time that makes sense, but I think it would have been a mistake to change it. Here are the other options: Just Friends,
I knew it was going to be Just Friends.
Playing Melancholy Baby, Boy Meets Girl, Blue Moon, Words of Love, It Had to Be You. It Had to Be You gives away the ending, unfortunately. So I don't think Harry, This Is Sally, and How They Met. Like a lot of How I Met Your Mother, Boy Meets Girl, Boy Meets World, all you know what I mean? Like all these
Yeah.
fake titles that turned into be other things.
Just Friends is the obvious choice, right? But like you said, I think the title When Harry Met Sally is so iconic that there's no way that they could have seen that becoming like that in present day,
Correct.
like while they were filming it. So, well, kudos for them, you know?
I did think when this movie opens, they meet, and I'm like, it's like one of those memes you get where it's like, so a movie, someone asks the character, like, "Oh, hey, can you do this?" And the character's like, instead of in the what happens actually in the movie, like, "Yeah, I'll do this," and it leads to all the events of the movie. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. And like, oh, okay, and then the credits roll.
Yeah.
It's like, "Hey, Harry, this is Sally," and then the credits roll. It's because that's the title of the movie. Like they could have just ended it right there. But as I said, when you see this first vignette, it goes 5 years later, another 10 minutes, another 5 years later. I was like, oh, is this going to be the whole thing? And I was actually quite enjoying that. And it does do that. This movie moves through time very rapidly. But it is I thought the way this movie was designed
There's a
was really
point in the
cool.
movie, right? There's a point in the movie where that stops and it slows way down. I mean, we get like a 3-week jump a little later on where Carrie Fisher's getting married, but most of the movie from I don't know, I want to say like the 45-minute mark, it's like real time.
Not, I mean, but it's still over a year and a half period because we go through a couple Christmases.
That's true. That's towards the end. There's no, but we have the wedding and then we have Christmas to New Year, right? I don't know when they
That's
got
like
married.
20. That's like 20 minutes.
Yeah, but it's not a 5-year jump. We're
No, I
all in
get.
this. We're in the same year. Carrie Fisher being in this was a surprise to me. Obviously, when I was 10 years old, I didn't, make the connection to Star Wars. I think she did really good in this. I think, like, almost unrecognizable in this role.
Definitely a different role. Bruno Kirby, not unrecognizable, very recognizable, as I know him from the guy from City Slickers, the other, Billy Crystal movie. Have you
This
seen
is,
City
no, I haven't. You're talking about Jess.
Jess, you
Yeah.
haven't seen City Slickers?
No.
Oh shit, well, add it to the list, man.
Now, the thing about Jess's character, right, is that does every Nora Ephron movie have to have a pretentious writer archetype?
Except he's not pretentious. He's actually a
Uh,
very if you were like, "Hey, at the end of this movie, this guy's a writer. What kind of writer is he?" I was like, "Sports writer." You know what I mean? Like he didn't have any pretense really to me. There's the one scene where he like it almost came out of nowhere that that's what he was. That he was like a I don't know a great thinker or a
he's a
an opinion
life
guy or
I thought he
whatever.
was like a lifestyle writer for the New York Times.
Yeah, I mean he could have been at the end, but I'm saying he was a pretty normal character throughout.
I love how all
He was
these
not Greg Kinnear.
No, Greg Kinnear is like the extreme of what he could be, but I just do find it funny that both of these movies have pretentious writer archetypes mixed in with the fact that like Meg Ryan in this movie is also a writer for the New York Times, and they thought that, oh yeah, you're a writer, she's a writer, you guys would get along splendidly. They couldn't have hated each other more.
Well, they just were uninterested. They were very uninterested in each other. I mean, I think also too, there's this undercurrent of unsaid, like Jess and Marie both understand that Harry and Sally should be together. Like almost in the beginning. Like if your friend is like constantly talking about this girl and you're like, oh, do you have feelings for her? No, no, no. She's just a friend. You're like, okay, that's cool.
There's this great monologue in there that's like, "Oh, you can't be friends." I think Jess says this to Harry, where it's like, you can't like be friends with a woman who you tell your significant other that you're friends with because she's going to think that there's something lacking within the relationship.
No, that's Harry to Sally in the second 5 year period at
Oh,
the airport.
explaining more as to why women can't be friends with
He's
men.
yeah, it's his first addendum.
Oh, that's right, when they're on the walkway on the airport.
Yeah. So what do you think overall about the rule, men and women being friends?
You know, I want to side with Harry because personally in my life, every woman, girl that I've been friends with, at some point in our relationship,
You tried to bone her.
not like bone her, but there is always some sort of like unspoken sexual tension in the air, right?
Right.
Except with one person who has genuinely like stayed my platonic friend even to this day. You know her. Do you want to know who guess who that is?
I mean, was she at at your wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then that's what I figured. She's also isn't she married with a kid?
2 kids now.
Oh, so there you go. I mean, but that makes sense. I mean, to me, I think it
No,
is
but I'm just saying in our entire friendship from high school to now, before we both got married, we've been friends all this time, but completely platonic. But it's not like either one of us is hideous, but we just, that was just like never a problem with that friendship. However, saying that, there are a lot of other friends that I had that are girls that got jealous when I got a girlfriend. I got jealous when they got a boyfriend. There was all that like tension that did happen, and we are no longer friends anymore. So I think that is the most common result. And then the only other person that have has been my friend for the longest time that is a girl, I married. So, it's like this give and take
yeah.
thing where it's like, yes, I agree with Harry, but I think there is that exception.
Yeah, there's always the exception that proves the rule. I think it is very difficult. I mean, the one thought in my life is like I have a group of friends that are all married, right? But like even I was trying to think of the circumstance where you like I would hang out with your wife without you, and
Mhm.
I don't think it exists
I think unless like something
that we both are
something
interested in.
yeah.
But I still don't know that Taylor would want to hang out with just me.
I think our kids would have to be involved somehow. I think
Yeah.
there would have to be something where your wife is busy and I'm busy, and our kids want to go to this thing, and you're taking him to this thing, and my wife is taking my kid to this thing, and you guys are at that thing together without us. Like it's a very specific set of circumstances. I have to see it involving our children.
I think but like, the his addendum where he's like, "Oh no, because the wife's gonna get jealous that there's something that you're not interested that they are or whatever." But if there was like complete trust and you're like, you knew that if the wife knew that the husband wasn't interested in person, it just like she happened to have an interest that you didn't like, I don't know, golf or
Here's the thing.
whatever.
Here's the thing. If I was into K-pop and Taylor wasn't, right? If that interest was reversed and I was going to go see Stray Kids
My
and
wife
invite,
wouldn't my wife wouldn't go with you.
well, fuck. Never mind.
I just think it's difficult. As I think
I
Harry
think I
was
would
on.
go with her though. Like if we were both like liking a certain band and you two had no interest in it and she was like, "Do you want to go see this band with me?" I'd be like, "Sure."
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm not going to bone your wife just because I go see a concert with her.
I would hope not. I appreciate your your determination. I also think if your one plutonic friend like was like, "Hey, do you want to have sex right now?" Like in high school, you probably would have done it. So there's also that. You wouldn't have been like, "Ooh, no, let's save the friendship." So,
I don't think you know me very well, but that's fine.
so I like we talked about how annoying the Harry character was in the first section. I'm so dark. I read the last page of a book
Well,
in case I
it's
die.
pretentious. It's pretentious and nihilistic.
It's like, yeah, like I'm the moody guy in college, right?
But I can't help but think that like parts of like facets of my personality was like that in college.
Oh, I mean, still. And then the argument over Casablanca and the you have never had great sex and like, oh, I did with Sheldon. You can't have great sex with a Sheldon.
That's true.
I mean, it might be difficult. And then I have guy friends, and he's like, yeah, they all want to have sex with you.
I think that's more common with guys.
Oh, for sure. No, it is. It is. It is interesting. I've heard this take before, or people say this in like a funny way, a conversation, whatever. I didn't know it like came from this, or at least like this is maybe the most well known version of this. Like that's
Popularized it in some way.
yeah,
You have a little bit of this in the movie Just Friends too.
yeah.
But the difference is that he was fat and unattractive. And so, well, that was her reasoning to not sleep with him, right? Because when he confronts her with that, she's like, she was denying that, but then it was like, no, that is exactly why,
I
right?
can't. I gotta tell you, I don't remember Just Friends that all that well.
Well, there's a great episode that a great podcast did on it. You should listen to it. Refresh yourself.
So 5 years later, she's making out with someone, and it's this guy named Joe, who is Stephen Ford, the either son or grandson of Gerald Ford. So a little
She got
trivia there for you.
No wonder she was so torn up when she realized he was getting married.
Yeah, she could have next in line. So she says, "Oh, I'm so glad that guy didn't recognize me." I was like, "I'm pretty sure he recognized you. Like it felt like he knew who you were." I almost thought he was playing a game. The movie maybe is not clear on that. If maybe he was like, "Oh, I kind of can place her or not."
I think he was genuine on like not really knowing, like, I know this girl, but I don't know where I know this girl. But then in the air in the airplane, that's when, like, when she was being difficult with the order, that's when he was like, "This bitch."
I love the way he's like snooping around her in the back seat. And also, he's like, the guy's like, "Hey, do you two want to switch?" And she says no. And he's like, "Oh, sure, absolutely." And the guy's almost like, "I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want to be between you two. Like, just get me out of here."
Well, even Taylor mentioned this, is like the way the guy was reading the newspaper, like turned towards her, like almost facing her. She was like, "Is that guy trying to look down her blouse?" And I was like, first of all, there's no room in that blouse to look down. And second of all, that guy gave up his seat way too easily to even pretend to be interested in Meg Ryan. So
I also I like Joe in this when she's like, "Oh, the thing about guys and girls can't be friends," and she's like, "What do you think about it?" He's like, "I don't know. I'll get a friend that's a girl if that'll make you happy, if that's what you want."
I think that was the problem.
Probably, and then he ends up befriending the paralegal.
can't befriend the paralegal.
And then when he sits with her, she's like, "Oh yeah, you were good friends with," and she's like, "Amanda, I can't remember you. I can't believe you don't remember her name." Like 5 minutes ago, she's like, "Oh, what was my best friend's name?" She doesn't remember it
Yeah,
either.
poor Amanda getting like thrown to the curb like that.
Well, I don't know what they expected when he was moving to New York. Like he couldn't even. He had to get hitch a ride with someone. Like how was he going to get back to Chicago to see her? He wasn't.
Amanda wasn't going to drive him, and
That's.
Amanda trusted Sally enough to let her boyfriend ride with him. So
I love the line "white man's overbite" to describe like the dancing. Like
I
the
missed that one.
I was curious at that point how this was going to keep going. 5 years later, we're in New York. Princess Leia sitting there. The through line of her having sex with this married guy, and all the things she does, and she's like, "But he's not going to leave his wife." And she's like, "Yeah," or Meg Ryan, "Yeah, we all know that." Like, when are you going to realize that's not happening?
She knew that too. She just didn't want to admit it.
And then clock doesn't start ticking until you're 36. I love the Rolodex she has of guys, and she's like, "Oh, what about this guy?" And they're like, "He's married," and she just folds the tab on it. It's not. I'm not taking it out of the Rolodex of guys. I'm just folding it so I know he's married, but it's going back in.
Her character is interesting because it's like she's she gives bad advice to Meg Ryan, but then like there's this turn in the movie where like, oh, now she gives like good advice. Like almost like a switch between devil on the shoulder to angel on the shoulder. I think that's only when she meets Jess.
Right.
Like she realizes like she's comfortable in her own like relationship now, so she can start giving good advice.
Well, she also just gave bad advice because she's bad at it herself. Like
That's
she's
what I
giving
mean. I think when she met someone that she can actually have a relationship with, all of a sudden that turn.
the Giants game where Billy Crystal's talking about his wife that he's separating from is such a funny them doing the wave as he's describing like the worst day in his life.
Yeah.
Finding out this one. I did find this funny. I wrote this down later. We like this is our main one of our main characters. He is heartbroken throughout this movie about his wife leaving him for another man. It's like, but we never met this character. We've never seen him interact with his wife. So it's like, how much do we care about this? Like, how invested can we be in a relationship when we haven't even met one half of the people? And it's like, he talks about her a little bit, but he's like, yeah, I'm getting married. 5 years later, I'm getting divorced. And then we're like, oh, but this is eating him up inside.
Well, we don't get that until they run into her in the sharper image. And
Correct.
then that's like back pay. That like pays off on the back end of like, oh, everything he's been talking about beforehand, we get the context now, you
I
know?
guess it's a hard thing to care about. So then I do love her like little monologue where she's like, I was happy with Joe because we could fly off to Rome at a moment's notice. We could fuck on the kitchen floor. And she's like, but then I realized we've never flown off to Rome on the moment's notice. And then
We've
Harry's
never flown off to Rome on a kitchen floor.
on a moment's notice. And then Harry's like, well, what about the kitchen floor? She's like, it's hard and it's cold. She's just like realized we wanted different things. I think it's a very good speech. And then
I think that payoff comes when there's this point where he's like moping over Helen, and then he gets onto her for like not moping over Joe and not really getting touchy feeling about anything until she finds out that Joe's about to get married.
yeah, that scene where they're arguing, so it's right after he saw Helen at the Sharper Image. He's mad at his friend and Jess talking about the table. He's like, I thought you liked the table. I was being nice. And then,
That table it's like such a good slice of life moment because like how many times this might have even happened to you, definitely has happened to me. It's like you're moving in with a girl and you have that one piece of furniture from like your college days that is just like the gaudiest, tackiest like man cave bullshit, but you just can't get rid of it.
yeah, I mean, I get one room in this house. It's my room that I get to keep shit like that. I guess Jess just didn't have that room with Marie.
But I mean, it's just such a good, and I love he's like, so you don't like my bar stools either.
Yeah. But then outside when he's like yelling at her, like, and she's like, "Oh, what? Because I haven't fucked anybody?" Like, and then she's like, "You're gonna have to move to New Jersey because you fucked all of New York City." And then he's like, "You know what? I'm sorry." Like he kind of gets over it because he realizes, like, yeah, I'm being an asshole.
Can I just say one thing? Let me just say one thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, right, right. You, good acting. You confused me.
Thanks.
So we get sort of like some nice, like, you know, scenes of just them being friends, right? They're on a call talking about Casablanca. One of my favorite gags in the whole movie is outside of the Chinese restaurant. She's just mouthing her order, and the Chinese waiter just looks over at Harry and is like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "I'm over this." Like, just so mad about her order, and he's like, "Yeah, I get it, man. I understand it." And then you're the worst kind. You're high maintenance, but you think you're low maintenance.
Doesn't that lead to the very famous scene in this movie?
It's about to. There's some other stuff. Him talking about the Olympic sex dream where his mom's the East German judge is so good. And then he's like, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm going on a date." And he's like, "Oh, that's awesome. Is that what you're gonna wear?" He's like, "You look better in skirts." It is funny how much they're interested in each other for so long, but like neither of them can pull the trigger.
Well, we haven't even talked about the vignettes where it's like the two old people talking about how they met and how long they've been married, and that
I love
happens
those.
like, yeah, no, they're great, and it's kind of like where's this working up to? Just to at the end of the movie we get one of them, and I love in that in theirs they're like, yeah, it took 3 months from the time we got together to the time we get married, and then Meg Ryan corrects them and is like 12 years and 3 months.
Right. To the Cat's Deli scene, I think the most famous scene in the movie. I actually one of the last times I went to New York City stayed at this like kind of shitty apartment or hotel right next to Cats, and I we should have gone in. I don't know why. Like this was probably 10 years ago, but big mistake not to go in.
Missed opportunity. Did you know who that old lady was who says the famous line, "I'll have what she's having"?
Yeah, it's Mrs. Reiner. That's Rob's mom,
Yep.
which apparently he like did the scene for everyone, including in front of his mom, like to be like, all right, this is what the scene's gonna be. What's really cool is so the fake orgasm was Meg Ryan's idea, and so they added it in, and she was like, "Oh, it needs to be in a public place," and so that's why it was in the Cat's Deli. And then the "I'll have what she's having" line was Billy Crystal's idea.
That is cool.
It like this movie, you have like Rob Reiner's a great director, Nora Ephron is a great writer, also very specifically at romantic comedies too. But then you have these just like kismet things where it's like they didn't want Billy Crystal at first. They didn't want Meg Ryan at first. They're perfect for this movie. She comes up with the first half of the scene. He comes up with the kicker, the ending of it. And it is the most famous part of this movie. Is those two in Cat's Deli.
Yeah, in film school they always say that film is a collaborative art.
Right.
And I think we've seen this too in films that you could consider not so great. Is either when like a director has 100% of creative control over a film, sometimes the film lacks, or when the production gets a hold of it and they change the film, right? They have 100% of the control.
Right.
But I think it plays really well, and films usually do better when everyone can play their part. And this is a movie, definitely, especially from the things you've been telling me, that I feel like everyone played their part in this film. I think that's the thing with Rob Reiner too, with his movies, because his movies are always pretty successful. The Princess Bride, I feel like that's a movie that's like everyone plays their part so well.
Well, and two, he's like a guy that didn't seem to have an ego about things. Like we
Right.
talked about the who was it, Ashley? Was it Ashley Judd who left to go in to go be in Heat, and he was like, "Yeah, you'll be great in that. Go do that." In A Few Good Men, he like works with Aaron Sorkin as the writer, right? Like he kind of like that's a very Aaron Sorkin movie. So it's like you can tell like he's fine with taking other people's materials. He does Misery; it's a Stephen King thing. Like he's adaptable, and
Yep.
he's someone who doesn't have the ego of like I'm going to make this what I'm going to make it. And like I mean, if you list out his movies from like the late '80s through like the night. Like it's an incredible fucking run of movies
Yeah.
that like a director would kill for. And I think that is part of the reason is like his willingness to be like, yeah, like that's a great idea. Let's do that. The next thing that I saw in this was like, oh, this is a Christmas movie. We kind of wasted this because it's them getting a tree together.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie, but I think we're
Also,
excused of this
it's also
movie,
really
and
it's a New Year's movie too.
it's a New Year's movie.
So and it's the
It's a
promise of
holiday movie.
and it's the promise of like the next year, right? We're recording this right before New Year's Eve, so like it works for us as recording it, and then
It
it'll come
works
out a
for
few
us
days
very
after.
well. I mean, you could also consider this a Thanksgiving movie if you wanted to.
So then after Christmas, we have New Year's, which basically counts down. We have 1 year left in this movie, and they do this sort of chaste kiss where they just kiss on the lips, and but she like Meg Ryan once again. I think maybe an underrated actor at this point. Like she sort of lights up when they kiss. You know what I mean? Like it's like oh, she's like like very happy about it.
When is this? Is this when she's broken up about Joe?
This, I mean, like the Joe breakup happened a while ago. I don't think she's gotten upset about it yet. So after this is when they try and set each other up with their friends, and then their friends hit it off and like, hey, but just let her down easy. Don't call or
Best,
whatever tonight.
funniest part of the movie.
Hey, I'm gonna go get a cab. Oh yeah, me too.
They both get in the cab together, and they're just like Harry and Sally are just looking at each other like, "What just happened?"
Yeah. So then we have the argument about the table, right, with Jess and Marie.
Right.
And he's like, you're gonna go 15 rounds on this ugly coffee table. He's like, I thought you liked it. I was being nice. And then when Jess is walking out with it, and he looks at him, he's like, don't say a fucking word. Which he doesn't say fucked, but there are enough fucks in this movie that this has to be rated R, which I guess I did not expect. It's rated
Yeah.
R, but it's like you removed 2 fucks, and this is clearly a PG-13 movie, right? Like I don't
even think you see anything when they have sex.
know. Yeah, I mean, I would at least a little of Billy's crystal, popping out would have been nice, but whatever. Next, we get them dating these other people at this party, and they're like talking shit about each other's dates, and then we get her
I think
calling about Joe.
the Pictionary scene is really funny.
I thought it was baby teeth.
Oh, I thought it was baby vomit.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, but it has to be like a word. Baby teeth is a thing. I mean, baby talk is a thing too, but she should have had the arrows coming out of the mouth instead of pointing towards the mouth. I would have made it better.
She did have the arrows coming out of the mouth.
She was so confused.
She just sucks at drawing. I mean, I swear that looks like that does not look like a baby. What part of it? None of it. What did he say too? He said something like baby lips, and Jess was like, that's not a that's not a phrase.
No, he said baby talk's not a phrase. He's like, yeah, but whatever you were saying, that's a
Yeah,
phrase.
Planet of the Ape monologue is, yeah, something like that.
So then she's crying about Joe, calls him. They have sex, which is not something I saw happening. She is ecstatic about it, and he is like, oh, I don't know if I want this, which we don't get a clear explanation from the movie why he's like trepidatious about this.
It is amazing to me that both this and You've Got Mail has really average looking guys having sex with Meg Ryan. And it's just like, she knows she could like shoot for a 10, right?
I mean, Tom Hanks is good looking.
Yeah, but like, it's Meg fucking Ryan. And also, like, this is just impeding to the male fantasy of like, oh, I can look either way and get any woman I want.
But also, Billy Crystal is like one of the funniest people on earth, especially at that time.
Not in this movie.
No, he was.
Harry's not funny at all.
Yes, he is.
Also, he's kind of a bad person up to the end.
He's complicated. He's becoming a better person, as you say. But he is very funny in the movie.
To us as the audience, but I don't think it was very funny to Meg Ryan.
And he does the whole voice thing with the pecan pie at the...
Okay, that's pretty fucking hilarious. But the thing is like, well, okay. I'll put a pin in that because I think this is an argument of just like, you think Billy Crystal's hot, and I don't think I can change your mind on that, and that's okay. But I do want to say, the way that they made these two people, especially Billy Crystal, look in their like early 20s at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, his hair was ridiculous.
And the progressive age that they like looked older. Like I think Meg Ryan was 27 at the time that they shot this, and she at the end of the movie was playing 32. I think they did such a good job. Not saying that there's just a huge difference between 27 and 32, but I think going from making her look 20 to what 25, 30, 32, I think was just handed to the makeup artist. They did a really good job.
I love when she was like, "It's over at 40." He's like, "You're not fucking anywhere near 40." She's like,
No,
"I'm
no.
close enough."
She goes, I'm about to turn 40. He goes, when? And she goes, someday.
Yeah. So they have sex, and she's like, "Yeah, you immediately ran away." He slept there the whole night. It was light out when he left.
I was
Like,
gonna
what did
say
you
it's not
want?
like so he was talking about leaving girls at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and come up
Yeah.
with a dumb excuse like he has a polo game or something, right?
And she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I have work. You have work. Do you want to have dinner tonight?" I was like, "He's pretty." What did she want him to do?
Yeah,
Cancel his life that day?
but couldn't you feel it? Like he wasn't really into it.
He wasn't. He didn't kiss her and be like, "Hey, baby, gotta go." Yeah. Yeah, he was showing signs. I still don't
Also, I think
understand.
she knew if she woke up, like if she didn't wake up before he left, he would end up woken her up.
Oh, well, that's for sure. Absolutely for sure.
Also, I love just the difference in what they wanted from each other during the like them telling each other that they're not really feeling it. It's like okay, it's a mistake, and then he's like, oh, I hope he doesn't think it's a mistake, but I hope I get to say it first. And then she goes, and then Billy Crystal's like, I hope she says it first, because as soon as she says it first, he's like, oh,
Oh,
thank God, I'm
thank
so
goodness.
relieved.
And then she's like, "Oh, well, fuck you."
Yeah, exactly.
So the scene where they're each calling their best friend, they shot all of that simultaneously on 3 different sets that were sort of connected. So it's all one take for all of that spliced together.
That's cool.
It took 61 takes to get it right. And apparently on the 54th take, they got it completely. And then when Jess hangs up, he fucked it up and they had to do it like 7 more times to get it right.
That's a cool scene though. I wondered how they did that in the 80s, because it was like, is this an
Yeah.
80s movie? This is an 80s movie, right?
87, 89,
87.
89. Next, we get the wedding. He's like, talks about dog ears. She's like, "Who's the dog in this scenario?"
I would have said me.
Yeah, yeah. And then I just let you know I didn't come over for sex. She's like, "So did you pity me?" And he says no. And she's like, "Fuck you," and slaps him. Like she's like, I don't. I think you're lying. And then the calling thing is hilarious. And he's like, "That's it. I'm not calling her anymore. I'm making a schmuck of myself." Cut to him singing to her over the phone. And I thought she was gonna like be with another guy, and he was gonna have to like. He goes, she's dancing at New Year's Eve with another guy. You're like, oh, this is her new guy. Billy Crystal's gonna have to come between them.
Like the worst guy.
Well, no, then there's the nerdy guy after that, but the first guy was like kind of good looking guy. He kind of looked like the tall guy from the party earlier.
No, the guy that she's dancing with on New Year's Eve, where he was like telling her that joke, and she like goes over the
That's
pillar
a
to
different
get.
guy. She was dancing with the guy, and then there was a different guy that was telling her the joke. I think they're two separate guys because you're supposed to know she's not there with anyone specific. So I think it's done
Ah,
on purpose.
okay. She also
All
seemed like
white
she
guys
was.
look alike to you. Whatever.
That's not true.
He runs to her, which apparently he was like a half mile away. Should have taken like 6 minutes. He did it in 2 because he's Billy Crystal. You tell me this guy's not good looking. He's like an athlete. Maybe maybe
he's
the greatest
he's like
rom
Dustin Hoffman in Marathon Man. You're right.
yeah, maybe the greatest rom-com speech in movie history is his speech.
You like that better than the "You've Got Mail" speech?
I think so.
You like that better than the Nicolas Cage? Um,
I could eat a peach all day.
I can eat a peach all day.
No, that one's a little better. So
No, I was gonna say the hand speech
what's that? I have no idea what you're talking
in
about.
Moonstruck.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. It's iconic. I've never seen the movie. I knew the speech, and like I was sort of saying it line by line as it was happening.
No, it's a
So
great speech. It is. It really is. And I think like most of these movies, right? They are good in the sense that like, oh, you never think situationally Tom Hanks is going to get with Meg Ryan. You never think Meg Ryan is going to get with Billy Crystal. And then you have that moment of like serendipity, huh? at the end where they realize that they are meant for each other, but it's not without a great speech. Like
And she's like, "I hate you."
it ties the knot
It
really,
does.
really well.
And then the callback to the interviews when they interview about theirs is so good.
And they even made them like they look a little older than they did in the previous scene too, you know?
Yeah, the hair and makeup person was very good in this
Do you know if this got nominated for any
screenplay.
oh. Do you feel like movies nowadays have like more of a gatekeeping on like what gets nominated for Oscars than like movies back in the 80s?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine like a straight rom com like this getting nominated today, right?
You did
There'd
have
have to
well,
there would
you
have to
did
be
have Past
something
Lives,
that's not a rom com. It's like dramatic.
I guess, but it's pretty like straightforward.
Yeah, but I'm saying a romantic comedy, right? Like that's the very specific part of it.
I just read today that Die Hard got 4 Oscar nominations.
A lot of below the line stuff.
I don't think you can do an action in today's world like Die Hard and get Oscar nommed.
So, this is a pretty famous story that's been going around. I did all the fun facts besides this one, but originally this movie was going to end with them not getting together because Rob Reiner at the time, he had divorced his wife Penny Marshall years before. He was very like down on marriage and love, never thought it was going to work out for him. Met his wife, who he was still with when they passed earlier this month, the year that he was making this, and so they changed the ending because he had found love again. Which I mean, it's just very like little cool aspect of this movie.
I think this movie works with them getting together. I think you would have to change a few things about this movie for it to work with them not getting together. But I think you could make it work with them not getting together.
Well, I mean, because this is a very much a will they won't they thing. It's set up with the very first speech about can men and women be friends.
Don't you think it would have been great at the end of the movie that they proved Billy Crystal wrong?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't care about that. But I think your point of them having to change a few things throughout to make that make sense, because this movie builds to where you care about these two, like as the same as Jess and Marie are seeing them, you're like, you two should be together. As the audience, you're seeing these two and you're like, you two should be together, right? Like they like when you have something bad in your life happen and the first person you call is that person, you know what I mean? Like it just, I think the movie is set up to where if they didn't end up together, you'd be like, that kind of sucks. I mean, you'd have to definitely land the plane on them not ending up together for me.
Yeah, true.
So then, I mean, this is now on the Mount Rushmore. We'll eventually do Sleepless in Seattle. See if Meg Ryan can just fucking take over the entire thing.
She can. I just still can't believe my mom let me watch this at such a young age. It was like this, Slips in Seattle, You've Got Mail, and it's not so much like there was like nudity or sex in all of these, but there was like a lot of mention of nudity and sex in all of these. And also, there's something about Mary. I still can't believe that she took me to
That's
that.
that's the fucking big one. That's the CPS should have been called on that one. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of I Finally Watched. This is David.
And this is Alon.
And I finally watched When Harry Met Sally.
Yes, he did.